I give the call to the member for Cunningham.
Thank you, Deputy Speaker. I want to take the opportunity at the beginning of my contribution to this debate to acknowledge that it is important that we have bills before this House with the best interests of small business in mind. My area, like I'm sure everybody's area in this place, is profoundly reliant on our small business operators for the employment base in our communities. And so recognising that, I think that in the current context where, as other speakers have said, small businesses have been at the very forefront of dealing with the coronavirus pandemic, that I want to acknowledge that that's certainly the case for small businesses in my area. You've had small businesses face the reality, many of them having to close because the nature of their business was not able to continue. Some who had to massively adjust the way that they participate in the local economy in order to comply with the health requirements. And it was a huge stress and pressure on many of which, of course, are family businesses and across a whole lot of sectors. In our area, there were some really both amazing initiatives to support our local small businesses, as well as some amazing actions by our local small businesses to support others in the community who were struggling. And I just want to take a few minutes to be able to give a bit of an acknowledgement of that in the context of this debate about small businesses. Can I first start? I want to give a shout out to Toria Hope Cota, just a community member who had the great idea of creating a Facebook page which she called Illawarra Menus, and invited businesses who had changed their business model to takeaway or home delivery to be able to participate on that website so that local community members knew what their new offering was and were able to access it. It was a tremendous success. Many businesses adapted and innovated and used this platform to get the word out to the community. A few examples, if you have a look at the posts, it's very easy to find if you want to look up Illawarra Menus. Samaras Restaurant, His Boy Elroy, M2 Kitchen, Attaboy, the Art House Cafe, D'Amato's Family Restaurant, the Coniston Bakery, Crown Bakery and Cafe. There were a whole range of our local small businesses who you can see making really innovative responses to that very difficult situation, and they continue to do so. They've been very active. Pubs and clubs like the Cabbage Patch at Fairy Meadow and Ryan's Hotel at Thirroul, the Fraternity Bowling Club, Bellambi Pub, the Wollongong Tennis Club, all reopened for takeaways and deliveries, and found ways not only to keep their business going but to utilise and keep engaged their staff so that there was a minimising of the impact on employment. And I want to really give a big shout out to Toria and to all of the local businesses that made that work so effectively. I also want to acknowledge the Illawarra Mercury, our local paper, who went out of their way to tell the stories of what was happening in our small business community, and in fact have a Back in Business campaign supporting small businesses. And I acknowledge that our print media themselves are going through fairly tough times, and so it was just a great thing to see the local paper getting behind local businesses. And particularly, I want to really single out, and I'm sure the other journalists won't be offended at my doing this, Greg Ellis. Greg is an absolute champion for small and medium businesses in our area. He's out there. It doesn't matter what event I go to for a small and medium business in the local area, Greg will be there with his camera in hand, getting the story and putting it into the paper. And I just know that is enormously appreciated by so many across our community. So thanks, Greg, for all the work that you do. Like many others, I took the opportunity to engage with my community on platforms such as Zoom and Facebook and so forth. And I want to acknowledge the Corrimal Chamber of Commerce and the Illawarra Women in Business, both of whom I did Zoom sessions with, talking about the issues facing local small businesses. I know my colleague who's with us in the chamber, the member for Whitlam, did the same, having got those conversations with our Regional Development Australia Illawarra branch, doing those sorts of connections to talk and explain some of the initiatives the government had introduced to get feedback on what was happening locally. And I thank Paul Boltwood from Corrimal Chamber of Commerce and Glenda Pappett from Illawarra Women in Business and Deb Murphy from the RDA for facilitating those opportunities. And I also want to acknowledge the amazing work done by the Illawarra Business Chamber, our peak business chamber, and Adam Zarth and the team in supporting our small businesses at that time. As I indicated, it wasn't just about supporting our small businesses. Many of our small businesses spent time supporting others in the community, as is so often the case when we see difficult times. We also saw it during the bushfires earlier this year, with so many small businesses making donations and having campaigns to help people affected by those bushfires. Just a few examples. The Rotary Club of Corrimal with the Indian Association got massive support from small and large businesses in our area with donations to put together care packs for international students. Obviously we have Wollongong University in our area, and many international students, particularly students from India, where with the nature of their banking restrictions in India weren't able to get support from their families and were really struggling. A great initiative supported by our businesses locally. The Wollongong Lower East Cafe partnered with the Wollongong Emergency Family Housing, and they've been producing 40 meals a day for homeless people. A really great initiative. Centro CBD restaurant in Wollongong have provided over 1,000 meals for workers, the frontline workers at Wollongong Hospital. So whilst their own businesses were shut, turning their resources and skills to helping others, and just an amazing story.